The journey through Lan Na, the kingdom of a million rice fields, begins in the historically rich city of Chiang Mai in northern Thailand. In the center of the beautiful old town, several statues serve as a reminder of Chiang Mai's former historic rulers, as well as Thailand's present-day king. There's an abundance of photo opportunities here. Wat Phra Singh, the city's most famous temple, is located outside the Old Town district. Some of Southeast Asia's fascinating yet threatened animal species are on public view in Chiang Mai. Built in the 14th century, Wat Phra Singh is situated in the historic center of the city and is one of Chiang Mai's most important religious sanctuaries. Apart from its wealth of historic architecture, the city is also well known for its popular arts and crafts, especially its colourful cotton and silk umbrellas. The exceptional skills of the city's local craftsmen and artists have transformed Wat Phra Singh into one of the most beautiful temples in Chiang Mai, although it is surprisingly not covered by most city tours. In the suburban street markets, the atmosphere is quite authentic, even though it's most assuredly aimed at the tourist trade. Cockfights are part of everyday life. And close by, paper is made in the traditional way. The Flower Garden Temple, Wat Chong Klang, is located just beyond the city walls and contains the final remains of various of the country's past royal families. Above this, the legendary temple site also contains an important religious relic. Wat Chong Klang dates back to 1296 and is the oldest temple in the city and was once briefly used as a royal residence. Chiang Mai has around 200 sanctuaries. Those with an interest in historic art will not be disappointed here. The sacred buildings help to provide an impressive picture of the development of the city's cultural and religious history. In recent years, Ban Tawai, a small village that contains numerous teak wood craftsmen, has become an important center of Thai arts and crafts. North of Chiang Mai, close to the White Elephant Gate, is a village of potters. The Wat Phra Temple is one of the most beautiful examples of Shan architecture, a people that originated in Myanmar. At the end of the 19th century, many Shan traveled to the north of Thailand in search of work. Others fled here in recent years due to a war. The picturesque 569-kilometer-long Ping River flows through the center of the city. In the evening, a cultural center provides an insight into Thailand's various traditional costumes and music. The folk dances of various mountain dwellers are also included. The day begins with a journey to the mountains to an elephant training camp. The camp is popular with both young and old alike. Prior to each performance, the elephants are given a tasty treat in the form of bananas and sugarcane. Each day, the massive animals show off their talents in the Giang Dao training camp. Working elephants have always played an important role in Thailand. Whether for military purposes or forest labor, such as the transportation of timber, man has exploited the gentle strength of the elephant. The unauthorized cutting down of tropical trees is now illegal in Thailand. Thus, there are now hundreds of redundant elephants that are subsidized by the government and further assisted by the benefits of tourism. Work breaks mean that the elephants can take advantage of a well-earned and refreshing bathe in a nearby river. It's good to get close to the elephants, and many visitors can't resist the opportunity of using them to explore the local jungle scenery. The elephants are trained for both forest and agricultural labor, and water buffaloes are also used for agricultural work. As with the elephant camp, the Thai Buffalo Training Center is located 20 kilometers north of Chiang Mai. Here, it's possible to gain an understanding of Thailand's traditional methods of agriculture, with a major emphasis on the region's paddy fields. The cultivation of rice has been known in Eastern Asia since 3500 BC. Even though the majority of Thai rice farmers are poor, their work is much respected. Work in the rice fields is hard. The daily life of the rice farmers is influenced by the seasons and particularly the weather. Even today, water buffalo are frequently seen pulling the traditional water wheels that assist the irrigation of the land. This fascinating water buffalo training station and the nearby traditional rice farm were created specifically as a tourist attraction. The journey across the north of Thailand continues and leads to a village of the Hmong, a hill tribe that originally came from China. At first glance, the village appears to reflect the warlike character of its inhabitants, who, during the Vietnam War, also fought against each other. The Hmong are also known as a very enterprising and strictly hierarchical and well-organized hill tribe. The ride up to the mountain villages provides a sense of adventure and in recent years has become extremely popular on the tourist map. This dreamlike, picturesque mountain world is home to many people who, despite their common environment, are culturally very different from each other. Compared to the Hmong, the Lisu are a totally pleasure-loving and adaptable people with a strong sense of individuality. There are also similarities between the various hill tribes. The Lisu have a long history of military warfare. One Lisu battalion even fought alongside the British during the First World War. Today, their warlike activities have been replaced by the creation of popular handicrafts. Traditional Musa and Lahu villages are few and far between and quite difficult to locate. The deforestation of this region has had a large impact on these people, who were once skilled hunters. Thus, to survive, most Lahu must now farm the land. The drug addiction of the villages and the dramatic increase in AIDS has created additional problems for these poor mountain people. Yet, unlike their neighbours, the Lahu don't appear to be particularly gifted at the highly profitable, though illegal, cultivation of opium. Mae Hong Son is a notorious town as it is situated close to Thailand's infamous Golden Triangle, one of the largest opium-producing areas in the world. The remote location of this small town that only in 1965 was connected by a tarmac road to Chiang Mai and the outside world was for many years urged to relocate for disciplinary reasons. On the shores of the town's small lake are several beautiful sanctuaries, such as the Mon Temple of Wat Chong Klang, built according to traditional Burmese design. For many centuries, Mae Hong Son fell under the rule of the Burmese, who made their mark in the town's architecture. One of the most outstanding treasures of Wat Chong Klang is the Vihan, an assembly hall that contains more than 30 valuable religious statues. After a 30-minute march up a 250-meter high hill is Wat Doi Kong Mu, and a very fine view. The climb up to the temple and the sight of the magnificent Buddha statues is a rewarding experience. This sanctuary also is of Burmese design. Despite its relatively young age, the Wat Doi Kong Mu is an exceptionally atmospheric and charming Buddhist temple. The city's most important religious event is the consecration of the monks, or the consecration of the beloved sons, as the Wat Lak Kao festival is also known. During his or her lifetime, practically every religious Thai spends a certain amount of time in a monastery and adheres to the strict rules of the monks. In earlier years, it was customary to spend a minimum of 3 months in the monastery, but today it has been shortened to just a few weeks. Those who walk out onto the dark streets of Mae Hong Son early in the morning can witness the daily life of this colourful community. The large amount of local produce specialities is not only fascinating, but also quite tempting, a feast for the eye as well as the soul. Throughout Thailand, shortly after sunrise, monks can be seen wandering through the city streets while being given food by the faithful. The journey through the almost inaccessible north of Thailand leads to some of its most remote mountain villages. There are few roads here, and so the journey continues by river. For some, the boat trip on the river and its occasional powerful rapids is one of the main highlights of the adventure. Here there is little sign of civilization, only pure and unadulterated nature. As the journey continues by road, there's a mist until late morning that enshrouds this mountain world in a veil of mystique. The mist gradually clears to reveal the fertile fields of various hill tribes. After a 1-hour drive through the jungle, the small village of Ban Nai Soi appears. Although they live in a remote location, the local villagers have a few tricks up their sleeves. For the small groups of travelers who travel here, admission to the idyllic life of Ban Nai village does not come free of charge. Despite their simple rural background, the villagers have developed quite a good business sense. This insight into their everyday life has its price. As a result of tourism, Ban Nai Soi has been able to build a small school and now plays a central role in the education of the Padong people. The Padong inhabit the Karen region. Their women have become well known in recent years due to their unusual neck jewelry. At the age of 5, Padong girls are given their first brass neck rings. This continues until they've reached the age of 25, with an increasing number of rings added each year that gradually add more and more pressure. Weaving and sewing are among the traditional skills of the Padong women. They produce more than they actually need. Thus, the colourful blankets, bags and clothing of the Padong are a further important source of income for the villagers. It is only since the end of the 20th century that the Padong of Ban Nai Soi have inhabited Thai territory. Their original homeland is only a few kilometers away from here in Myanmar. one time, a journey to the Myanmar border would have meant certain death for many who travelled in this region. At that time, the tiny village of Ban Rak Thai, which is located close to a mountain lake, was situated in the centre of a war zone. Until quite recently, this was a military area. For several decades, the Karen mountain people were at war with the Burmese, fighting for their independence and their own state. Since then, the fighting has moved deep into the jungle regions of Myanmar, and so this border region is now relatively safe. Thus today, one can enjoy the splendour of the scenery without the immediate threat of losing one's life. A pathway leads up into the once war-torn hill border, now a place of tranquility and calm. Even though this mountain region is peaceful, its recent past has shown that military tension can soon heat up again. That is why a journey into this captivating area close to the Myanmar border is not without a degree of risk, but it all adds to the spirit of adventure. From the crisis-ridden border, the journey continues by boat to one of the most isolated villages in Thailand. The river is the only realistic way to travel in this region. The roads that were constructed by the region's teak lumberjacks don't exist in this area of the jungle. Fortunately, the scenery here has been left untouched by man. On the banks of the Pai River is Nampang Din, another well-known Padong settlement. The villagers here also originated from Myanmar. The true origin of these people is still unknown, even though their costumes and customs are reminiscent of those who inhabit the north of Myanmar. It was for economic reasons that the village was relocated to Thailand quite recently. Nampang Din has a small school. It's mainly financed by donations and the profits gained from tourism. Until a few years ago, the exotic Padong tribe was known only to a very small number of people. This small village church is quite a surprise. Even here, the Catholic Church appears to make quite an effort for new believers. Apart from these new buildings and the constant influx of tourists, life here has changed very little. The impressive cultural diversity of this mountain people and the beauty of nature makes a journey through the former kingdom of Lan Na a truly unforgettable experience.